Hello friends, it's Keiji and we have another pro and con review today for the Suzuki GSF 400 Bandit. Yes, many of you asked me to make a video specifically on the Bandit because it's a cult motorcycle of its time. Well, since you asked. Here you go. Let's start as always with the history. The first Bandit was introduced in 1989 and was produced until 97. In general, those years saw Japanese manufacturers make a lot of 400s for their domestic market. And one of the Bandit's competitors, including in the domestic market, was the Honda CB1, so it's not quite right to compare the Bandit with the Sibishka, because it's real. In general, what do we know about the Bandit? It is quite an interesting motorcycle with a lot of technical issues. Everyone knows that there is a red head and a grey head. The grey head being the first regular Bandit. After this iteration came the red head. It was different in that there was a change in the most was a kind of 800 pickup, and it was, well, seriously, it was faster. There were almost 10 horsepower more. According to the general data, this is 400cc, 59 horsepower, 38N, 6-speed gearbox. I note one of the most pleasant e-bonuses is weight, because the motorcycle weighs 168 kilograms dry. So let's move on to the pros and cons of the motorcycle. The first disadvantage is the carburetors. Probably everyone has heard about problems with carburetors on Bandits. Yes, it is. Sometimes the float chamber is not held there, sometimes the needle sticks, a lot of things happen in Bandos carbs. But it is worth saying that the problem is not only that they were somehow wrong created or a design flaw, and often the problem is that people do not change the gaskets. All repair kits are already either old or on sealant and cost only once. Basically everything. Sort it out and there will be no problems. The second minus, this is a fuel tap. Yes, there is a fuel valve leaks, not on all models, but this motorcycle has a certain tendency to do so that if you see any leaking stains or dripping fuel, then first of all, it would be the fuel valve that would be watching. Further, the third disadvantage is the timing. In general, there are a lot of problems with the timing. From the very moment when they made the redhead with a variable valve timing, you need to constantly monitor the chain tensioner, because it turns out to be a motorcycle enough. The fourth downside is the suspension, and it's very strange. The rear suspension is very soft, the front suspension is very hard. So if you're a person who weighs a lot, I wouldn't even consider the Bandos if I were you, because even with a weight of more than 80 kilograms, the suspensions of this motorcycle will no longer cope, unfortunately. The advantages of the motorcycle, well, of course, the most redheads especially, you understand what a motorcycle is, what speed is, what acceleration is. The second advantage is spare parts. There are plenty of spare parts for motorcycles because they were basically used as training bikes. A lot were imported. They're still riding around as if there are no problems with spare parts. The quality is another question. The front suspension is quite stiff, which allows you to maneuver freely rivets. And the fourth advantage is the dynamics. The dynamics of the motorcycle are really quite spirited. Dynamic, I would say. And there's also a trick in that. There are 2 gears in the gearbox. They're significantly lowered, so in the first 2 gears it accelerates very quickly. It starts quickly, plus the throttle grip itself is very short stroke compared to regular motorcycles, so it feels like the motorcycle is twitchy. It's so sharp, although in reality it's not that spirited. It's just that in these first 2 gears, it seems to perform more dynamically. The final advantage, in my opinion, is its design. Of course, it's a matter of taste, but Personally, I like the design of the bandos more than the design of the Sibishka after all. The guys were inspired by Ducati's space frame in the form of a cage, here basically for those years. Of course, the motorcycle looked very beautiful. These were the pros and cons. Yes, there was a lengthy break. Sorry, I apologize. I've just slightly lost my voice. Probably noticeable. My general attitude towards the motorcycle is positive. The only thing is that it is small. For a start, so to speak, the very thing. That is, it really will allow you to understand what acceleration is, what dynamics are, tinker with the motorcycle, learn a bit of mechanics, and basically be a proficient motorcyclist. Thanks for watching. Cage was with you. Safe travels. Bye bye. Take care.